Without further ado, I don't have to tease you anymore about this guy. This is D.Marble.
All right, thanks, man. All right. Hi, everybody. Before we get started, I'd like to say Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. All right, so gonna switch it up a little bit. Gonna try to bring some energy here. Not sure what Robbie was thinking, put me on after Rob Skiba. But if you expect me to try to be serious at this point and try to teach Flat Earth after that guy, anyway. But give it up for the Jedi Master Rob Skiba. Okay. So the title of my presentation is On the Level, because I consider myself to be a rather level-headed guy. So let me get started, I'll tell you. Do we have any ex-service members, current service members? I'm a former veteran myself. Anyone? All right, I'd like to thank you for your service. I did 8 years in the U.S. Army, got out in 2008. Didn't want to do another tour in Iraq. I saw some things over there I didn't really appreciate, the idea of sending young, poor people to fight against other young, poor people in a distant land for bankers. I didn't really, I wasn't digging it, you know what I mean? So got out in '08. Had a little time between end of service and finding a job. Around that time, I was exposed to a video called Fahrenheit 9/11. That was by Michael Moore. How's it sound, folks? Okay, good. I'm wondering, it sounds a little like a little echo to me. But so I got a good look at 9/11, some things that didn't quite make sense to me. And that kind of led me down a path of figuring some things out about the world that I hadn't been exposed to yet. Anybody else get their start at 9/11? Okay, so what I'm going to do with this whole energy thing, from time to time I'm going to ask a question. And I may very well clap my hands to get your attention. Once again, this might be a yes, might be a no. So can we test that out for a minute? Okay. Does everyone here know without a doubt that they are not living on a spinning ball? Excellent. All right, let me get your attention one more time. Does everyone here understand that they did not evolve from monkeys? Fantastic. All right. So let's get on with that. So further down the line from figuring out that whole 9/11 conspiracy, I was just exposed to a few other things, the Rothschilds, Freemasons, Jesuits, the Vatican, some other things were going on. And eventually, summer of 2015, I was watching a show on ABC. Actually, that was on Netflix, called Under the Dome. Under the Dome, that is. A little parched here. So from there, I finished those 3 seasons. Kind of weird, halfway through the 2nd season. And went onto YouTube looking for extras and typed in Under the Dome. So I see this thumbnail. It looks like Earth, except it just happens to be flat. There's a dome over it, water pouring over the edge. It was a compilation video of Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues. And that was my introduction to Flat Earth. So myself and my ex-girlfriend, we watched that video time after time throughout that weekend, and each time we would pause it and ask each other questions. Like within the first 5 minutes, Mark Sargent says, these are some of the more interesting points of the Flat Earth immediately. Did he say Flat Earth? So, yeah, I mean, seriously, because we're taught the globe thing. We all know this stuff. We have this shorthand. It's all good. So, my approach with Flat Earth, I consider myself a bit of a recruiter. So I keep my points rather simple, not too complicated, easy to digest, and I boil this thing down to two small points. Do we have measurable curvature, and do we have detectable spin? So that was the start of my journey. So At work one day, I had an idea. I was talking to some coworkers, and there were some guys. Had a discussion. There were 5 guys. Two of them were positive when I talk about flat Earth. 2 of them were a little negative. There was 1 guy on the fence. I was kind of focused on the guy on the fence and the 2 positive because, avoiding negative is kind of what I do. So I'm talking to this guy, and I'm saying, look, Omar, if I travel from Tacoma to Portland, and we're trying to measure curvature, if I had a level in some way or another, you wouldn't see the bubble shift at all. And I had an idea. I knew I had a flight coming up in a few days. I was going to go visit my daughter on her 10th birthday. So after work, I grab a level. I get on Facebook with my idea, because I was in a Flat Earth group on Facebook. It was the first one. I was really excited about this thing. You all know the feeling being new to Flat Earth. You want to go talk to everybody about it, right? Right? All right. Still with me? I forgot to clap. That was on me. It's all good. So this is my Facebook post. I'm like, hey, guys, I have a daytime flight in the morning, and I'm going to take my level onto the plane and make a video. Somebody hook me up with some of that curvature math. I'm a really technical guy. You had no idea. I plan to do a 20-minute time lapse, airspeed approximately 650. It's actually 545. We'll talk about that later. So I need to know about how many miles and how much missing curvature I should experience. And posted that to the group. They got back with me as far as the spherical trigonometry, the chart that we've all seen. So while I was doing this, I'm going back and forth. We go back and forth with people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all the time, and that's what I was doing on Twitter. I post about Flat Earth, and I get approached by one of the more popular ball earth shills, Mick West, and he says, no, oceans are flat, but they look flat because they're so big, but you can measure the curve of the horizon with level. I said, you know what, Mick, that's exactly what I plan on doing with my flight from North Carolina to Seattle tomorrow. Then I called him a globe-tard and little punch emoji. I wasn't as nice as I am now in the beginning stages. It was rough, man. So that's me with my level, talking back and forth with Mick West. So what I did, it was 2017. This was April. Yeah, it was May 1st, April 30th, one of those days. Anyway, so get onto a flight, and the cruising speed was of the A321 Airbus was 515 miles per hour. The flight time, and what I did, I took my level, I took my old iPhone 4S, trusty sidekick of mine, and did a time lapse. And while I placed the level on the tray table, the bubble stayed centered through the entire flight. So I did a 23-minute, 45-second time lapse of that video recording. And the distance I traveled along the Earth's surface was 203.85 miles. Being that I recorded that entire time, at that speed, at that distance, 203 miles, that should have accounted for 5.24 miles of downward tilt of the airplane flying along the curve of the Earth. But the level showed me that the plane was actually flying through the air over a plane. They give us these things out in the open. We've all heard truth in plain sight. So I post that on my YouTube channel when I had about 27 subscribers. A guy I work with comes to me like a year later after the video had gone viral and tells me that he actually put that video on Reddit. And a lot of people were having this huge argument that I had no idea about. So I was starting to wonder why I was getting more subscribers all of a sudden. Starting to wonder why more people were approaching me on Facebook, these social medias, wanting to argue with me about this stuff. I had never been in a position where I was being attacked by so many strangers. I know you have no idea about that, right? Because the second you say flat Earth, society's taught to flip on you. That's what happens. So because of that, the video went viral. I was written about in a ton of publications, and they would link the video to their article calling me an idiot. And and people would go to my channel and they would watch it, leave their comments or a thumbs up, mostly thumbs down. It's actually about a ratio of about 100 thumbs down to every one thumbs up. But Actually, funny story. One guy left a comment, and I forgot where I put that screenshot. He says, "I'm sorry I had to thumbs down your video. I needed the money." As if YouTube's kind of paying people, just pay. Seriously, I'm not kidding. If I had a screenshot, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Anyway, so yeah, because it went viral, now you type in your Google search spirit level guy. What's up? So, unintentional recognition. I'm an introvert. If anybody knows me from, growing up, I'm usually the guy sitting in the corner at the party, hanging on the wall, during the dance and all that. Getting up talking in front of people, having a whole lot of people asking me questions, not my thing, not at all. But, you live and you learn and you grow to become who you need to be to help this thing along. So I face my fears and I sweat behind the podium in order to spread the truth about our world. It's a little glistening there because I was running up and down the halls a minute ago. Seriously, I had to run upstairs just to get a little video clip and add it to this thing. I'll show you in a sec. All right, so because this video was making the rounds, all these people were coming to me. I'm getting rebuttals, the same rebuttals we always get. You don't understand how level works. Here, let me see now. I forgot to bring my level. It's in my bag over there. But anyway, a level's it's pretty simple. You grab the thing, you move it from one side or another. You sit it on a flat surface. The bubble moves to this side. That means this side's higher. It's pretty simple, right? A spirit level or a bubble level or a level is an instrument designed to indicate whether or not a surface is horizontal or vertical. Not too complicated. Simple guy, right? Easy stuff. The pilot wouldn't have to dip the nose down because he's flying along the curve of the Earth. Now you get to see my Microsoft Paint skills. Look here. This is simple stuff. I'm like, dude, the plane flies level. That's what the bubble indicated in the thing. Look, the plane would eventually have to dip the nose down. If I'm flying over 5 miles of curvature, it's going to have to be made up at some point. It's pretty simple. If the plane's flying this way, that means the Earth is curving beneath. Duh. Okay. Why don't you just look out of the window? You're not high enough. Has anybody here ever flown on a plane and sat in the window seat? Did you look out of the window? Jeez, people. Okay, so you're not high enough. I'm like, okay. So this is me on a plane looking out of the window. And I actually posted a video the whole time with it was a flight from Little Rock to Dallas, and it was like a 45-minute flight. Time lapse of the whole thing. I'm looking out of the window and I'm not seeing curvature. So anyway, but as far as that whole "you're not high enough" thing, let's hear what Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say about being high enough. Oh no, do I not have it? Audio? What's going on?
He would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump.
Talking about Felix Baumgartner.
Now, I don't. It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they make sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, "Wow, he's in space. Look at that." No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat.
So if Felix, in his edge of space jump, was not high enough to see the curvature, can we see it from an airplane at 35,000 feet? Thank you. You guys are awesome. All right, so moving along with this whole whether or not it's flat. So it was August 6th, 2018, the year of our Lord. Myself and a friend of mine, Mark, we worked together. He's a flat earther. We had an idea. You know, he's always excited about wanting to go out and make observations. And we had a plan. We were going to get together one weekend. That kind of fell through. So we, you know, worked it out to where, okay, we're going to meet up at this Starbucks. We're going to have a little strategy session. I had all my stuff in my van at the time, my mobile flat earth billboard. He had a laser that had a 12.5-mile range on it. I got my P900. So hey, let's see what we can do. We found 2 points on the Puget Sound. All right, the laser was positioned at Owen Beach in Tacoma, Washington. That's where Mark was with the laser. I was across the water at Saltwater State Park. I was acting as the observer. There was a live stream going on that I did. I had an audience of, what the heck? Okay, anyway, moving along. What is going on here? Anyway, so anyway, let's go back here. I'm just going to wait for it. Come on. Gotta hit play again? Okay. Things are showing up. So anyway, the laser height was 10.5 feet above sea level. The distance was 10.3 miles across the sound. My camera height was at about 3.25 feet, or 3 feet 4 inches. So. So there's a picture of that. I thought it was pretty well documented, but some people didn't think so. And we were able to see the laser from across the water. Like I said, I had an audience of about 150 people on a live stream while we were doing this thing. And we were on the phone the whole time recording the entire situation there. And that's the perspective from both sides. That's Mark with the laser up on the ledge, shooting across the water, not into the water. We'll get into that in a second. And that's my camera showing that bright blue dot there, indicating that it is that's its laser. It's a blue laser flying across the water. Of course, that's it. So, for the people with common sense in the audience, I'm going to ask you: can you recognize whether or not a light is shining directly at you? Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. Common sense people in the room. That's awesome. So okay. So that's what we got to see there. All right. That's perspective. This picture here in the bottom left corner. That's a screenshot from the camera, what it was picking up, and I had my phone doing the live stream, and that's what we got to see. We could actually see the faint. It looks purple right there because that was from the live stream, but we could see it. We could all see it just fine. You know, stormtroopers have really bad aim, right? But one of the main things that I got back was refraction. So, I mean, I just, don't even really take these folks seriously. Let's chat about this. So, yeah, it's like, dude, your aim's way off today. Are you not accounting for refraction? Because that's what they're telling me. You're like, you didn't account for refraction. So let's get into that a little bit. Refraction is the bending of a wave when it enters a medium where its speed is different. Enters into a medium. The refraction of a light, when it passes from a fast medium to a slow medium, bends the light ray toward the normal to the boundary between the two media. Okay? The examples here is like, if you're out spearfishing, you look in, you see what you think, where you think the fish is, and apparently that's the image, but the fish is actually in another place, or when you put a straw in a glass. However, the definition there is about light going through a medium, okay? That's the light going through a prism. That's an accurate depiction of refraction. A light going through this glass here, coming out on the other side. That's an accurate picture of refraction. The laser was above the water, so that doesn't really qualify. Does that make sense? Okay. Good. Another rebuttal I get from these folks. Beam divergence. As if a laser's beam would spread out and then bend over the bulge of water in between us, and then meet my eye with this bright blue light. But beam divergence is an angular measure of the increase in beam diameter or radius with distance from the optical aperture or antenna aperture from which the beam emerges. Light comes from the aperture, spreads out. Simple enough. So that's what we see here in this picture. That's from the live stream. And, with beam divergence, there's going to come a point where the beam spreads out so much that you're not going to be able to see the bottom of the diverging beam. And, well, let me just show you. I can show you better, I can tell you. You'll have to bear with me. I got a little excited here because, I mean, to me it was kind of game over with this one, but let's get into it. And yeah, that's perfect. Right there. Come back a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Come back. Come back just a little bit. Just a little bit. Back to the right. All right, yeah. Right there. Yep.
Right there.
Yep. Oh, right there. That's perfect. That is it. Yep. You're shining it right at me. Everybody can see it. Perfect.
Yeah, because I can see it hit that block. I can't see the beach. I can definitely see the train line of it.
Yep. 10 miles away, right?
Yep, 10.2 I think it is.
Yep. That's 10 miles away, folks. Boom. There it is. Hey, you're shining it right at me, dude. Nice. Very nice. All right. Conclusion. Mark and I observed that there was over 60 feet of missing curvature. Fun fact, the Puget Sound is connected to the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is connected to every other body of water. So if there's no curvature over that part of the ocean, it's probably not going to show up anywhere else. So, I mean, does that mean that the Earth is flat? Common sense stuff? It's pretty simple. I mean, you that direct line of sight, does that make sense to you? Easy enough? We already know that we understand when light shines directly in our face. I got two of them right now. All right, so on to this whole whether or not we have a moving Earth. Okay, so is the Earth tilted and orbiting the sun? Because that's what we're told, that the Earth is orbiting around the sun, 66,000 miles per hour. The sun's dragging all the planets through the Milky Way galaxy at all these unimaginable speeds. And yet we feel absolutely no motion. But we've been trained away from our senses by the modern indoctrination system, so that's not good enough for people, a lot of people actually. So let's move on to this thing. Let's look at this Earth tilting situation. Can you tell whether or not an object is moving if you're standing still? Yes. Fantastic. Let's just do a little visual representation. I like to, what I did a lot of in 2018, I got really excited about doing time lapses. So I'd go out to the beach, out to the American lake, and I'd, record the sunset for about 4 or 5 hours. Helicopters moving through the air, right? You wouldn't be mistaken in seeing that flying through the air. Okay. One evening, I sat in a Walmart parking lot, got a full moon and a clear sky. So I decided to stay out all night, just watch the moon move across the sky. You can also see Mars just a little bit beneath that. Ever seen a full moon transit? Isn't that pretty cool? Interesting night. Very, very, very mild, really, really chill situation there. But, it's pretty obvious to those who have eyes to see. More obviousness here coming up. So if you're on the ground and you see an airplane flying over you, if you have a camera and you're following the airplane up overhead, and then you have to turn around and track it with your camera, that means that you're standing still and obviously the airplane is moving. So this is more of that, okay? We've been trained to believe that the Earth is orbiting around the sun, but if you stand still and you're just watching something fly across the sky, then that's pretty obvious to me. And here's the last one. Love a beautiful sunset, actually. All right, so moving along. Depicted by Rob Skiba, and another shout out to him. This is one of my favorite go-to representations of how the Earth works. I'm one of those folks believes in the flat Earth, closed cosmology with the dome and all that. There's different factions of flat Earth. I'm a domer. Deal with it. So, from what I can understand, this is what it is. It just makes more sense to me that, during the winter months, the sun makes a clockwise circuit around the North Pole. It goes further down below the Tropic of Capricorn. In the summertime, it crosses over the equator. It's making its circuit closer to the Tropic of Cancer. And that explains, why during the summertime, there's that whole 24-hour daylight cycle. It's pretty obvious, like I said, to anyone who has eyes to see and ears to hear. So the thing is, because I had seen that, and I had seen on YouTube other people do time lapses of the sun doing the same thing. Like someone got multiple days of time lapse in Greenland, somewhere close to the North Pole, and you could see the sun tracking through the sky, and it looked like it was going up and down and up and down, and they just followed the sun around the sky. It never set. It looked like they did that at around summer solstice. So I decided to go out to Alaska last June and make an observation myself. We went to two places. I'm only going to show you one of those. This is from the second day. My buddy Chris and I were out in Alaska. We went down to Tok, Alaska. We found this nice little rest stop. And there was nobody around for miles. It was awesome. So what you see here, this little orange pole in the bottom corner, that's going to be the start point. We'll just track the video around. I'm just going to show you the horizon, where we're at, and we're just going to follow the sun. Because obviously, if you take your camera, and obviously what I did, I took the camera, I spun it around, and brought it back to the same spot. It's obvious stuff. And at that point, actually, before it went down below the hill, the sun was actually over Africa at that point. It was awesome. Then it comes back around, right back to the pole. Finito. Do you know when a camera makes a 360? Yes or no? Yes. All right, so that's pretty much what you just saw. We're going to leave it at that. One more thing, let me see. What else we got? So there was another situation that I had. Back in 2017, I had an idea. I was at work one day, and I'm on Twitter, and one of my friends on Twitter, he posts a picture. He's in Australia, and he posts a picture of the sun and says, "This is right now in Australia." It had been like 5 minutes from when I'd actually checked that post. And he takes a picture of the sun rising. I'm like, sun's rising in Australia? It's about 1:30 in the afternoon in Tacoma. I'm looking up. I'm like, but the sun's right above my head right now. That's weird. So I get in contact with a couple of friends. My buddy Matt, he's in the UK, in England, and Luke Dow, he's in Australia. So I have an idea that I'm going to do a video chat with these guys to see where the sun is. I'm in Tacoma. If the sun's above my head in Tacoma, I want to see where it's at in England. I want to see where it's at in Australia. So what we did just that. There was a video I got on my channel. It's called Globe Debunked in Under 6 Minutes. It's actually 5 minutes, 59 seconds, going over this technically. And what we saw, Matt could see the sun going down on the horizon. It was 9:03 where he was at, 1:03 in the afternoon where I was. Sun's high in the sky, it's going down where he's at. A few minutes later, I'm like, "Hey Matt, appreciate you. Thank you for your participation in this situation. Still haven't met the guy face to face. Love him to death. Texted him the other day. He's still willing to help out anytime. He's out flat smacking people in the UK all over the place. Good guy. Flat Earthers unite." We're all a team, We all bring something to the table, and we all have a voice, and we can all contribute to this whole situation. So, that's what this is all about. So, a little help from my friends here. I call my buddy Matt. He helps me out. He shows me video. I'm recording. And I call Luke. He's in Australia in Biloela, central Queensland. And he's showing me that the sun's coming up where he's at. And he had the moon above him. Isn't that cool? It's weird. So, sun's over my head there. It's going down in the UK. It's coming up in Australia. I'm like, wow. And Luke wasn't even upside down. So you know, look, very more simple graphics for him. Like all three of us have eyes on the sun. Awesome. So that was, you know, I just like to make these simple observations. Like, does that really make sense on a globe, man? I don't think so. But here, let me. There was another video that I did while I was in Alaska with Chris, and I actually did a Facebook video. Let me show you. I got in touch with Matt and my buddy Sammy, so let me. Maybe we'll have some fun here.
All right, Matt, can you show everybody the sun, please?
I think it's basically just, see over there, just about. Can you see it?
Yeah.
As in, like, basically, it's just below the horizon. It's got right over there. Dark there. So it's literally just behind them houses. You can see it if you're like a bit taller. It's over there.
That's awesome. All right, so yeah, as we discussed, I'd like to hop on.
Hey, how you going, bro?
Hey, we got Sammy.
That's good.
Sammy's in
Oh,
Sydney.
man, I'm sitting on the bus in Sydney, but I can show you.
Awesome. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy's showing us the sun in Australia, and I'm showing you the same sun here in Alaska, right overhead.
And we had
We'll
just
have to
seen the
go
sun
over and
in
take a
England.
look, see if that actually makes sense, because I'm looking straight up, and they'll tell you that it's because the globe is tilted a certain way because of this time of year. That is
It's
bull
bull
crap.
crap.
That's exactly right. It's impossible, isn't it? Hang on. Yeah, look, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go. That's more like Australia. You're a nut, man. Upside down. Yeah.
I had about 30 more seconds of laughter there, but I decided to spare you that. But yeah, oh, that was all kinds of fun. Okay, so you didn't account for the tilt of the Earth. This just proves the globe. How? But okay, all right, fine. So I did a follow-up on that video and pulled my globe out, and you know what? I actually wasn't accounting for the tilt of the Earth because, well, it just didn't occur to me at that point. But let's talk more about this whole tilting because there's more than one way to skin a cat, my pops used to say. So here's what we have. It's the annual mean temperature. We already know. We all know that it's about 85 degrees near the equator. It's nice, warm, tropical temperatures. We all know that. Towards the North and South Pole, it's a lot colder. Colder in the south than it is in the north. I believe that's because the sun's not spending as much time circling toward the outer ring, but, you know, people beg to differ. It's all good. So, about this tilting Earth, 23.4 degrees and all that. On the inverse of 90 degrees, that's 66.6, giving you an indication of who comes up with this spinning ball garbage. But, moving along. So, the sun's rays are hitting the Earth from 93 million miles away. Now, what we're told is that the sun is 93 million miles away. This radiant energy flow is hitting the Earth, and because it's constantly hitting around the equator, that it's going to keep that temperature a little higher than north or south of the equator. If these radiant, if this radiation from the sun is coming from 93 million miles away, would there be such a significant change in temperature just a few thousand miles north or south of the equator? Absolutely not. Now, that data from the annual mean temperature was applied to a flat Earth. I love the flat earthers on the internet, man. I mean, they come up with such cool stuff. So you put that data and you attach that to a flat earth. Now, back to this chart that Rob Skeeble put together. Doesn't that make sense? I find that to be a little more, that makes a little more sense to me, actually. I mean, I did go out of my way to record that the sun's making a 360-degree circuit around the North Pole. And if that's the data, you know, I mean, it makes more sense that the sun's circling around there, also providing light and heat for the equator. That just makes more sense. How about you? Thanks, guys. Now let's get into a few reasons why I don't trust NASA. Let's have some fun here. All right, the Van Allen radiation belts. So this is Dr. Kelly Smith, one of the NASA engineers. In an interview, he says, before we can send astronauts into space on Orion, we have to test all of its systems, and there's only one way to know that we got it right: fly it into space. As we get further away from the Earth, we will pass through the Van Allen radiation belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, and other electronics on arrival. Naturally, you have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. Before we can. Context clues. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. Didn't we go to the moon back in '69? Okay. I mean, come on. Okay, so if somebody tells you that, you know, something needs to be done before you can actually go to a place, doesn't that kind of mean that they didn't go? Oh, simple stuff, yeah. So anyway, that's one reason. I mean, he basically said, yeah, we haven't gone to the moon yet because, you know, we would have had to go through this dangerous area of radiation.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that humans do. The first step should be going back to the moon for a number of technical reasons and exploration reasons, and then after that, Mars, maybe high orbit in Venus atmosphere, maybe going to Europa. There's all kinds of targets to go to, places of interest in our solar system. The only limit to human future is in our own imaginations.
Okay, so a lot of us already know the relationship between NASA and Disney anyway. You know how Werner von Braun, one of the, you know, higher-ranking NASA engineers, was really tight with Walt Disney. So somebody posted this online. I'm like, well, that's obvious. It goes right with what he said. But let's go back to that whole, it's, you know, it's really painful process to build that technology back. Does that make sense? Look, but that isn't just any phone, folks. That is the Moon Reacher 3000. Nixon called the moon on that thing, people. And we lose service on freaking, you know, Samsung, like going from one town to another. But yeah, to the moon, right? Sure. Okay, more technological comparison. This is the 2019 Gran Turismo convertible. $164,980. Pretty nice, right? All right, here's the 2019 Ferrari Portofino, $214,533. Sleek. And here's the 1969 Moon Rover, $9.5 million. I'm wondering what technology they can't rebuild at this point. Okay, so cost overruns, however, led to a final cost of $38 million, which was about the same as NASA's original estimate. 4 lunar rovers were built, okay? It was 1 for each Apollo missions, 15, 16, 17, and 1 to be used for spare parts, okay? All right, so we're going to get back to that lunar rover in just a second. So here's what NASA says. Okay, they admit that the moon landing tapes were erased. Ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that this company would keep those type of things on hand. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of us have children who will draw something and it's hanging up on your fridge until you have to take it down, right? But they lost the mankind's greatest achievement. We can't track that. We can't go back and check the tapes. Okay. So NASA admitted in 2006 that no one could find the original video recordings of the July 20th, 1969 landing. Since then, Roger Navsger, an engineer at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland who oversaw television processing at the ground tracking site during Apollo 11 mission, has been looking for them. The good news is he found out where they went. The bad news is that they were part of a batch of 200,000 tapes that were degaussed magnetically, erased, and reused to save money. To save money. Okay, let's get back to that lunar rover. But this is, you know, I was looking at this thing. I took some time trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm like, okay, so, you know, each tire must be about $100,000. That frame, that's probably $350. This you know, metallic umbrella, no. Then I look closer. I'm like, oh, I got it. Check this out. I did some digging on the internet, man. Check out what I found. It's got to be the chairs, man. I mean, all right. Okay. So I go on to NASA.gov, and this is an actual image that they have. Astronaut Nick Hague soaks up views of the Earth. Okay, it's awesome. You know, the helmets, they have this highly reflective glass on the visor, and you can see forever with these things. It's crystal clear. It's awesome. Okay, and this is an actual image from NASA.gov. You can look it up yourself. Something's missing though. What's taking the picture? All right, there's a mirror. I mean, we see the Earth here. We see parts of the ISS. Where's the camera? I'm just saying, I'm not trusting it at all. These are reasons why I don't trust NASA. You can find your own. There's a lot of them laying around out there. Another reason. Yeah, that's a real article. NASA wants to probe deep into Uranus in search of smelly gas. You'd think that Beavis and Butthead writes this stuff. I'm serious, but, you know, probe Uranus for smelly gas. That's classic. All right, so censorship of flat Earth. That's something we have to deal with these days. Flat Earth, it's going crazy on the internet to a point to where, they just can't control it. We're growing exponentially on YouTube. There's people talking about this stuff always on social media. There's people out in the streets, talking about this stuff. The mainstream is actually having to take it seriously. And if you're from the media and you're going to go back and try to make these people look crazy, shame on you. Don't do it. Don't do it. These are good people. All right, so real quick.
Highlights our policy. In terms of conspiracy theory content generally, our goal is to promote authoritative content to our users. So we have two principles that guide the way here. That's the first one, is we want to provide users with authoritative, trustworthy information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of
Your response is to
videos
put a
claiming-
box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay, I have a question, Ms.
Like, why would she use that as an example? Like, what we do? I mean, we just don't believe that we live on a spinning ball because there's no curvature and there's no detectable spin. I mean, it's not such a big deal, but we have opposition. And that's an example of one of those little boxes that they put at the bottom of these things. From YouTube's official blog earlier this year, we'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways. Harmful! Such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the Earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about the historic events of 9/11. What we're doing is dangerous? Come on, man. I don't think so. I mean, like, has anyone been hurt? Look, pull out a little ball, pull out a little doll or something. Show me where the flat Earth hurt you. That's what we gotta do for these folks. On YouTube, they tweak their algorithms to where if you type in flat Earth in the search, that we get all kinds of so-called debunking videos. We got this clown that showed up last year. He put out a video. You know, you can go down pages and pages. It's all going to be negative. And this is what we have to deal with. So this is why we have to take the message offline. We have to take it to the streets. We have to go talk to people in real life. And there's a lot of people doing that. Shout out to Authentic Intent. You know, Flat Earth Fokker, got to get that right. You know, people, look, also a massive shout out to the folks in Europe, the Globelite Tour, Roxanne, Dave Murphy, that crew. I'm telling you, they went to 50 countries. They're all over the place. Awesome stuff going on out there. But I did a little activism myself. I've got my mobile Flat Earth billboard. I was driving that thing around for 2 years, spreading the message everywhere I went. Easy enough. There's a little activism with myself, my buddy Ted in the back. What's up, dude? But yeah, we're just out at the beach. Got some stuff from Flat Earth 101.
You guys ever seen Nikon P900?
Icon, I have not.
Dude, zoom on this thing. It's
Talking to
crazy.
these people about, never mind, I'll just skip that. Anyway, so look, I'm almost out of time. So if you wanted to get involved in activism, you can go to FlatEarth101.com, grab some stuff over there. You know, they have videos, they have articles, maps, postage stickers, posters, whatever. You can go do your activism there, different websites to connect people to, get you on your way to spreading this thing out. Can't get into that. I'm out of time. Like to thank everybody for coming out. As always, be good to each other, take care of yourself, and stay flat. Rick, you up?